Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What is going on, Coach Paul?
Everything's going on, Coach Jay.
Yeah, there's a lot going
Everything.
on.
In my long career, I have never seen any day like today as
Yeah.
far as news, movement. I'm glad I didn't blow out.
There you go.
I actually traded for a small profit. I'll take that as a good trading. How about you?
Doing all right, doing all right. Some crazy volatility in these markets. Took advantage of some of it. Got chopped up in some of the other, but we still have accounts to trade tomorrow, and that's the most important thing. Because on a day like today, it is very easy to get caught in a spin cycle, and these markets are wild. They're presenting a ton of opportunity. We saw it during Power Hour. Shout out to Mandy, Jack, and Andre taking advantage of that volatility during Power Hour. The Nasdaq rallied 300 points in an hour. And that is just the environment that we're in right now. So make sure you're managing your risk. Most importantly, take advantage of these opportunities. That is our job as traders. Welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before. We're definitely going to talk about some markets that everyone has traded today. But our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we could take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. I am Coach Jay. I've been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experience, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. You are our chat, our audience. We want to thank you each and every day that you joined us here. Let us know how you did on the day. Were you up on the day, down on the day? Did you follow your plan? JD in the chat says that 3-minute opening range trade paid in the ES today. Yes, it did. Shout out to the urgency traders that took advantage of that. Pretty nice trade there. Let's get to the news to start. We did have some planned numbers out. We had ADP weekly employment change coming at 26,000. U.S. durable goods came in at negative 1.4%. Forecast was negative 1.2. Core durable goods came in at 0.8%. Forecast was 0.5%. But of course, the unplanned headlines, the updates that we have going on in the Middle East are taking center stage right now. We started off the day with some heavy comments from the president, talking about escalations if a ceasefire deal isn't met. And then we had a lot of back and forth all day. It's really hard to keep up with what's actually happening. A lot of back and forth all day. Towards the end, we did get Iran say that they're reviewing Pakistan's 2-week ceasefire request. Reviewing it. We've heard a lot of reviews. We haven't heard a lot of confirmations of a ceasefire just yet. Again, the president's deadline is 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. We will be watching the markets at that time. Slow market starts that time. Shout out to BPC in the chat. See you, Braden. He will be joining Dakota for slow markets. I think I'm going to hop on with the guys there as well. Watch what these markets do. But ton of volatility out there, Coach Paul. Anything you want to mention on the news?
Yeah, it just came out on the top of the news there. Estimates of achieving a truce have increased recently, in recent hours, according to Israeli newspaper sources. So it's starting to build the case. But as we know, if you're making trading decisions based on news, you're probably late. So, I mean, it sounds good. We'll see
Yeah.
tonight. You're going to trade. I can't say it enough. as soon as you enter, you got to frame out that risk.
What your risk
If you
is.
traded today and without it, you're probably blown out.
Yep.
So stay careful.
Shout out to Coach Ray in the chat. Let's see what we got here. Courtney says, one solid trade overnight. I let it cook. I couldn't open the oven because I was asleep. There you go, Courtney. Using the slow cooker. Using the slow cooker.
Yeah.
Did not trade the bipolar equity market during regular trading hours. Nice job. Mo says, thanks, Ray and Coach Paul. Shout out to Coach Ray in the chat. You have no idea how it impacts my trading game, all the content that we provide. What a market today.
Welcome.
Weirdo, but can you hear me?
Yeah, it just said you're welcome.
Oh yeah. Let's get into it then. Get into the charts. We got 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts, but I only have access to about 24 of them with the data that I'm paying for. So we'll talk about those. To the downside, we had platinum down 0.67%, micro Ethereum down 1.39%, and RBOB gasoline futures, our biggest percentage mover to the downside on this list, down 1.59%. To the upside, we had the Australian dollar up 0.81%, gold up 1.05%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 1.14%. To talk about our big four, we had crude oil down just over 0.25%, down 0.27%. The S&P, this is flat, up 0.1% on the day. Gold up 1.07% on the day, and the NASDAQ flat also up 0.06% on the day. If you were trading the equity markets, you know that these were not flat markets. That's just where they ended. They pretty much ended where they settled yesterday, but it took the long way for sure. It definitely took the long way. Let's take a look. We always go to the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the S&P on the daily here, Coach Paul. What are we seeing here?
I put that line chart back on.
Gotcha.
First.
Hold on
This is
one second. Let's get these moving averages on here. And the line chart.
I mean, when you put a line chart, you can get rid of all the verticality and see where it settles, where it truly settles.
Mhm.
We looked at this yesterday. If I have, I'm going to put it out to the audience. What is that? That
Yeah.
structure we are in right now.
Who can identify this pattern? What we're seeing here. Maybe this helps.
So if you can,
There you go.
an
Courtney got
inverse
it.
head and shoulders, Courtney, yeah, a pelvis. This through all this drama,
Is that
this has been
what? Is that the name of that?
what?
Okay, we're just nothing. You just keep going. Inverse head and shoulders. Go ahead. Keep going.
Reverse Batman. Through all the drama, this is what's been developing underneath all the movement. That's a pretty strong sign. And today we've actually closed above that neckline. It's still pretty bullish.
Yeah.
But if we go back to a candle, there's a lot more drama in it. To me, this market, we closed above the 20. Now we held it. We couldn't break yesterday's low. We finished at the highs. Remove all the news, and this is where we sit. This could the bottom could be in. Not because I think it is, but that's the structure. That's a pretty reliable structure. That's what I'm seeing. How about you, Coach?
Seeing that same thing as well. We had what was one of the highest volume candles of the year, March 31st, and we've been holding that candle, right? Holding that candle's high. We talked about October 10th since it printed, but we're kind of right at the low of that candle right here. I think it's in a decision-making area, but seeing a daily candle close above the 20 moving average for the first time in about a month, buyers are trying here. Now, I think there's one headline that could come out that with how eager this market is for good news, a headline could come out that has us at all-time highs by the end of the week. The way that this looks, seriously, because it looks
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
It looks so the market is kind of trying to grab at anything. We saw this during tariff time. We have a potential trade deal with China. Oh, let's rally 5%. So if we get a certain headline, and there's another headline that could come out that could turn this market around and go the other way. So uh does that mean I focus so much on the headlines? No, I still have to trade the technicals because I have to have a reason to get in and out of a trade. But this does look pretty bullish on the daily time frame. Um,
Yeah, and look at the volume.
yep. Yeah.
That's pretty healthy volume on the and like I said, on the buy side. Whether that volume was from all search and chop,
Yeah.
I don't know. But the end result is we finished higher than yesterday. We finished at the high of this correction, and we're above the 20-day moving average.
Yep.
And now, but what you just said, let's picture that things change, the unexpected, that drastically.
Yeah.
That money sitting on the sidelines will not be able to buy it fast enough.
Yep.
Now, that's getting into a predictive mode, but that could be set off from this kind of a setup.
Just don't be surprised by it.
Yep.
Don't be surprised by it. Uh, you really believe the war is the major underlying issue with the market? I mean, there's probably some other stuff going on right now. Coach Paul, you've talked about it before, but I think the war is center stage right now. Oil prices are center stage right now. Are there other issues? Of course. Are there other reasons for the market to be bullish? Of course, right? There's always going to be something. There's always going to be an underlying reason for something. But right now, I think what's setting the tone for the environment that we're in is clearly what's going on in Iran. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Last night's open. Driving a race car outside. All right. Last night's open and VWAP attached to that. Coach Paul, what are we seeing here on the 30-minute?
All right. We had one of the things we did, we opened here yesterday's highs. And with light volume being a night session, there was no follow through buying. And it took a couple hours to break out of that range. But look at the structure of VWAP. It was ticking down the whole time. Then this was a precursor for the day session. It's almost the same structure.
Yeah.
Rallies late into the European Open, where we actually made new highs. Out of what? Look at the volume.
Yeah.
So, two things. Once we got back above VWAP, we just exploded all of it because shorts. Whatever it is.
Right.
But where did we go back to? I mean, that's still actually got stopped out last night on that.
Okay.
But look at the size of the candles.
Yeah.
In the light volume. Now, at that part, it's giving you an idea that there's no institutional participation in here. This is short-term.
Oh yeah.
Move on a headline market. I saw that this morning, and I was like, I'm only taking the opening range breakout trade. I'm not trading anything else.
Which turned out to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, and I mean, why did that when I saw that moving last night on that little bit of volume, what is that telling you? There's no participation by larger players. If it can move like that on light volume, there's nothing in the book. So
Right.
let's look at that opening range breakout.
We do have a headline coming out here. Iran's top joint military command will says will deal with infrastructure of U.S. and its allies in the region in a way that will deprive them of the region's oil and gas for years. So, I don't know about you guys, but uh, that doesn't sound like we're any closer to a ceasefire. But let's pray for peace, like Hogue says all the time. Again, we're in a any big headlines, we'll try to bring them to you. But that is what that headline just came out and said. We didn't really see too much of a reaction from there. Thanks, Coach Hoop, posting that news in the chat. But let's, again, back to focusing on the markets here. There were a ton of really nice volume spikes even before the open. I want to focus on a couple of these because we talk about these every once in a while. High volume anomaly sometime this morning there was definitely a headline that came out. Oil spiked on this, and the equities didn't. But I think what happened in the pre-market set the tone for the New York session. Once we started to get some of these headlines come out, and really more important than headlines for me, I don't know. I don't need to know what happened. I just need to know the fact that something did happen. And seeing these volume spikes helped look at the market to the short side, um, because we had volume, and we say it all the time. The start of the day is where the volume comes in, and in this case today, it was 6 o'clock Eastern time this morning, and then by the time we got into the New York session, that was just continuation of that flow to the downside. This second framed out candle here is that New York session open, and there's your urgency trade, Coach Paul. Within three Within 12 minutes, we
Uh,
had price and volume leaving the range to the downside on a 3 minute.
yeah. And at that point too, we were under session VWAP.
Correct.
Two things coming right there. So session VWAP was moving lower. We opened under that, so we're not. And once again, we don't have large players in here, large institute. They're on the sidelines.
Right.
That's why it's so choppy. There's no true volume. It's pure emotion. But in that emotion was sell it. There is no responsive buying.
Yep.
And it just recalls to me being on the floor and trying to move any kind of size in a dead market. You look out into the pit, and all you saw were little traders. 10 lat traders, and now you have to move 500.
Telephone.
Well, you're going to have to move the market 10 contracts at a time, and it's going to move because they can't absorb it. So that was a great trade. Then it continued. It tried to come back. What did it hit? It hit at VWAP.
Yep. Looked above it, but really
And
no follow
second leg
through.
down, which was the first level of support on the pivot, 65.91, right in that area where we broke beneath it and came back. And wow, look at the volume on the buying when we came back right there.
Where are you looking, Coach Paul? Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right after the lows. And once again, setting the tone for this, what can I say, high volatility would.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a high volatility day. A lot of back and forth action. To me personally, I like markets like this. Like I said, I had a mixed day, a down day in the Topstep account up, and I caught the longs in a personal account on the way back up. But these are markets that are, even though it was a range, we settled where we settled yesterday pretty much. There's opportunity in this. It's a tennis match, right? A winning position trader says. There is a question here from that. Could you kindly take a look at the high volume candle on the 3 minute at 12 New York time? Would you consider that a J trade despite the opening candle being the highest? No, you can't because of the location of this candle. You can frame this candle out. And actually, when I got on air with Dolby and James today, we talked about this candle being, the potential for a range. Why don't I consider this a J trade? And again, It's not a high quality one. Why? Because we saw this candle print right in the middle of the opening range. So I just see this as rejection. I do note it that it is relatively high volume for what's happening there. But if I see this candle print here, personally, I need to see VWAP leave this range in order to take any breakout trades. And you can see why, right? We looked below the low, VWAP stayed flat. We came right back up into the candle. We looked above the high right as we were ending the segment with James and Dolby. If you want to go back and watch the 12 p.m. Eastern time segment, the last 10 minutes or so, we talked about why this could be a decent short opportunity because from the time this candle printed, an hour into it, price left on both sides, but volume never did. That tells me range bound market. That tells me opportunity to fade the extremes, even on these bigger spikes up, right? Look at where we came back to, and we traded through it, and now it just this is like just becomes a Dorito, right? And the volume stays right in the middle. They expanded on one side. It's almost like equally. This expands 62 points to the upside here, and then another almost the same. It's a little bit more to the downside here, but I wouldn't look at that as a J trade, but I would frame it out for an area of interest for sure. Hopefully that makes sense. Shorted too, but I was hesitating because of the high volume. Yeah, I mean, the trade location matters here, and how much I'm expecting out of the trade matters. If I'm shorting this candle up at the highs because we looked above the high and failed, I'm not looking for a million points, right? I might be looking for 50% of this candle as a target, and then the other side of it of the range as an ultimate target. But uh, let's keep going here. Anything else on the equities you want to talk about, Coach Paul?
Um, well, we have to check out Russell because the Russell, like we talk about, is in another world. Never closed. I mean, we've been above the 200 moving average on the daily. It's much more calm market. I think someone in the who was it in the chat mentioned I'm just trading the Russell, calmer than MNQ but quicker than MES. And you can see from this daily, this is a much. If that's all you traded, you wouldn't know there was stress in the system.
Right.
So this cleanly, we're above the 200 on the half hour. The opening 3 minutes really there really wasn't much there. It was such a different. It really becomes a much different trade.
Yeah.
Um, Now, one other thing, it's much less direction, but it's holding up to this insanity. So we had urgency, 2-to-1 trade was done. But you're not getting the extreme whipsaws in the S&P. It's a little easier to handle this in a not a little, but it's much easier to handle the volatility in this contract.
For sure. For sure. Decent trades there. I saw somebody in the chat say the S&P, sorry, the Russell is uh, calmer than NQ, but quicker than the ES. Not a bad assessment there. Not a bad assessment. Dina's been trading the Russell nearly daily. Nice job. Definitely feels like the calm before the storm. Weirdo book. I saw your question. Your view for the market if and then situation. If you've ever joined us here, you know that we try to stay as far away from a prediction as possible. My prediction, if we, and this is going to be the best I can give you, again, anything we say is not financial advice. If we get closer to a ceasefire, the market will rally. If we get further from a ceasefire, the market will sell off. and that is as much as I'm going to predict because I'm going to trade tonight, and I don't want to frame my trades under any expectations. I'm going to let the market determine what it how it interprets the information, and then I'm going to trade from there. Um, but yeah, ceasefire up, no ceasefire down, something in the middle, maybe a combination of both.
Well, my feeling on prediction. And what I do know is I don't know. But I will look for structure and a repeatable process that I can trade.
For
Not
sure.
guaranteed to make money. So my gut feeling is this is going to rally.
Yeah.
It's my gut. I don't get paid on my gut feeling. So through my years of trading, I have to come to a point of understanding I don't know and look for structure to lean on.
That's it. That is it. Because again, gut feeling. How many of us can repeatedly trade on a gut feeling and manage risk and say, hey, maybe I didn't have like a bad chicken wrap for lunch, and that's what I'm actually feeling in my gut, right? I don't. You don't know. You don't know. So you got to have some type of structure to trade against. Um, but yeah, gut feeling is exactly what you just said there, Coach Paul. That is what we got for the
Right.
equities. There was another question in the chat that I want to get to. Ricardo Alaman says, "Hi, I'm a new trader and I passed and got funded, but lost the account, and I'm facing the issue that I'm not able to pass my evals after getting half one loss hits sabotages myself. What would you recommend?" Okay, so Ricardo, you're a new trader. Let us know how long you've been trading. Two questions, right? And I don't want to answer this in depth. We're going to continue with the show, but I need some answers from you, Ricardo. How long have you been trading? What product are you trading? And there's another question. How quickly are you passing the combine? You can answer those three questions, then we'll give you a detailed response to your question there. How long have you been trading? What product are you trading? What was the last question? How long is it
Oh,
taking
hold
you to
on.
pass the combine?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Answer those three questions, and we got you. Let's take a look at crude oil while we wait for those answers from Ricardo. Crude, the market that's running
New
the world right now.
highs. So something came out
Something came out.
and it's ripping.
Trump
My
on
gut was right.
Trump on Iran told Political this morning. He wouldn't share his instincts about tonight. Call me back in 2 to 3 days, and I'll tell you about it.
What does your gut tell you? I
What do
like
you
this.
do with that? That was this morning. Why the hell are
Well,
we hearing about that right now? All right, let's talk about oil here, Coach Paul.
look, I got Edgy Invest said something beautiful here. My gut feeling has an IQ of a chihuahua. Now, I don't want to
Yeah,
insult a chihuahua, but I agree. That's just, who was it in the chat? Because that's our instinct, or it might be our impulses can lead it with that first thought in your mind. But without structure and the ability to manage risk and get the information into a structure that we can act upon, then you're acting like a chihuahua, just barking, barking, barking. Um, there's a great book, and I want to give it a shout out. Who was it in our chat that about the book, The Chimp Paradox? And he
mm,
calls that impulse the chimp. It's a
okay.
quick reaction. But in trading, on days like today, you can get destroyed just on acting on impulse. And once you're in, you're like, why am I here? So thanks for that shot. It's a great book, The Chimp Paradox. I would highly recommend traders read it.
It was a CLZR in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice, nice recommendation there. Nice recommendation there. All right. Mo, how often do I use VWAP as a confirmation for my trade? It's not a confirmation, it's a confirmation of direction. Um, so I assess it every time I take a trade, right? How close am I to VWAP? What is VWAP telling me? If it's flat, that means there's a range. If it's directional, that means there's a direction. And then if there's a direction, how close am I to that volume, to that VWAP in trying to get in with that direction? So it's something I use all the time, but it's not just here's VWAP, I'm going to trade it. All right, let's take a look at crude oil here. What are you seeing on the daily, Coach Paul?
Now, we're finding some selling here at the contract highs. Not now. Look at that. When I say contract highs, that was a spike. That was. I mean, you don't see that too often, right?
Yeah.
It was a knee jerk, but we're finding balance and we're finding some value here. It's accepting this level. Why do I say that? Remember yesterday's tiny range. We had all the news you could use to buy it today.
Yeah.
And this is probably when my gut is saying this could be a turnaround here. But we had selling late in the day. It wasn't early. So what is it, right at settlement time, larger money got out of the market. Let's frame that 1 o'clock half hour. They didn't take it. You would think with the talk, the insane talk we had, this should be finishing at the highs.
Yeah.
And what happened? At 1 o'clock, there was no
1:30 is the settle,
follow-through.
right? 1:30 Central is the settle.
Yep. So right after that, into that the 137, we had what small buying, but look at the size of that one candle of selling.
Yep.
And it was the telltale, and it's kind of to me that big candle there after the close was a reflection of an imbalance made by someone got some size got out today. They didn't take it home. And if that size got out, that was a buyer. That's not bullish at the highs. So on the half hour, though, it was very interesting. At the highs, we did get a continuation sell.
What Coach Paul is looking at here, and I see a lot of comments saying, "Can we talk about tonight?" We will. You guys know how the show goes. We review what happened, and then we'll talk about what we expect to happen towards the end. But this is some good stuff here because we want to try to review and review what happened in the day so we can make these real time. Coach Paul, you trade a lot on the 30-minute chart here. This candle that you're talking about at this high ended up being the highest volume candle of the day. Somebody was asking for a J trade. There you go. This made the high, and although the candle closed lower than it opened, that was the highest volume of the day. We closed below it, and we didn't look back inside that range. You can see on a 30-minute, that's some urgency. We had price and volume. If this was a Globex open trade, we'd be talking about this has the potential to be the trend for the rest of it. This is a beautiful trade here. And something that happened late in the day, right? This is 11 a.m. Eastern time. You might not have had a trade all day, and then you see something like this, high volume at those highs, everyone's saying, oh, crude oil is rallying, it's going to 120, it's going to 140, it's going to 258, and then it turns around because there's no follow-through on that volume.
Yeah, that was and that was at the peak of the worry, the concern of the tweets that were coming, or whatever the news. Now, with that, look what happened. We broke the low of that candle.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the first shot,
Yeah.
right? Second shot is coming. We didn't recover that into the close. This is what I'll call the settlement close.
Yeah.
Big money got out. That big money knows a lot more than my instinct.
Yep.
Why would big money get out at the highs like that? If there, so understand when you see that why that it's such an important trade. It gives you some information. Why it took a large entity with a lot more information than you and I have because we're just the fish behind the shark.
Yep.
But that's extremely valuable information. That was long at that time. I got out.
Time to
I'm
go.
like, and believe me, when I got out, by the time I saw that clicked, it
Yeah.
moved 30, 40 cents. I mean, it
Yep.
went like that.
Yeah.
Uh, so big props to you, coach. When I see those at the high, it's like one of that's just pure information that's important.
Yeah.
So
Ton of volume
kind
up
of
there. Reminds me of that. Go ahead, coach. Finish that statement.
no, it's an extremely important um, setup, if that we can call it a setup. It's information that's beyond. Think about this. I just want to go over this again. At this high, really the highs of the move outside of the big spike, and you see a large seller that
Yeah.
we don't recover because you don't see that very often. You only see it at the highs or the lows.
Yeah.
So that's a big signal.
Yeah. Workhorse Nat says, why not enter in the sell if you know big money is getting out? You could. But if Coach Paul was long, how see, and here's we talked about this the other day, right? The read and the execution. The read and the trade. I could read it, but does that mean I have to trade it? And Coach Paul technically did trade it, right? Where if you're long and you read that, you get out. How many times do you want to flip bias in a trading day, right? And you got to take that into consideration as well. So could you have gotten short there? You could have. As a trader who maybe wasn't long all day, I could imagine that was an easier trade because now if I'm getting short, I have to take everything that I just thought about what this market was doing, hit the Men in Black pen, erase my memory, and say, okay, now this is completely fine for a short. Some traders can do that. Chat can't shoot threes. Uh, and that's okay. Hall of Famer, right? So, that's a tough thing to do. I think to flip your bias there. And again, there are traders that can do it. You don't have to be that one. But if you ignore this signal being long and you're saying, oh, this market has to go to $1 million, that's not trading either, right? That's not trading. That's hoping. So, good question,
Yeah,
but
yeah, you're absolutely right. That's actually a great sell.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, I just got out of a short going because I don't flip like that.
yeah,
Now you can try it. I just don't. I'm also, by the way, I was trading Nasdaq and S&P too. So without that, you're exactly right. That's a great short. I mean, yeah, take it if you see it ever. Now, what's the risk? It's not
yeah.
going to make a new high.
That's
So
where I
you
stay
have to
off.
measure that wherever you got filled.
It's about
And
three
then look,
dollars
these $3, $300, maybe more on one micro.
out of two to
Micro.
one.
Yeah.
Did get a 2 to 1. Shout out to two ATRs or risk on the other side of it. This actually ends up being pretty close to a two ATR. It's funny how that works. Uh,
Uh,
all right. There was a great comment here from Maui Man. Fellow traders, there are 55 likes and over 500 people watching. Please click the thumbs up button and help our coaches out. If you can do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you like what we're doing here, I just reminded Maui Man, you actually just reminded me to hit the thumbs up button. I always forget every day until somebody in the chat says it. But hit that thumbs up button. Tell your friends and family to like and subscribe. Hopefully, anything we're doing here is helping you with your trading journey. I know it's helping me with mine. Let's take a look at gold here on the daily. I thought we were going to get another. Well, you can't click the like button twice unless you do it on a different account because then it just takes the like back. So if you want to like from your burner account, we greatly appreciate that. But like if you're hitting that like button from one account, make sure it's an odd number. All right, let's take a look at gold here, Coach Paul. I thought we were going to get two daily dojis. Uh, what are you seeing here on the daily in gold?
Uh, we didn't get too inside with dojis, but we did get a little bit of buying.
Yeah,
But it's still in that range. We're still under the 20-day moving average. This is I'll say an inflection point.
yep.
I'll keep that polite. There's other ways of saying that. It's kind of move here. We got to get some buying. Um, I think this could turn around and go back down. So right here, and it reflected in the half-hour chart, indecision. But watch it break out of this range, and I would go with that direction.
The last time we
Still
saw
hold.
two tight range days like that, huge move in the next 4 days.
Yeah,
Let's see. We got a lot coming out the rest of this week. Also, we still have PCE, we still have inflation, which we heard John Williams, president of the New York Fed, this morning say the war is going to increase inflation, where we get two big inflation reads Thursday, Friday. So we will see what happens here, but I'm expecting a big move out of gold
yeah. Um,
sometime soon here.
One other thing on the negative for that gold, it's the 20s below the 50. So it's got more to prove on the buy side. You're going to need new buyers, fresh buyers to really turn this around. So I call this, it's in a compression. And outside of compression, what happens? Movement. Um, it's still a little heavy. Like I said, looking at it's got a lot. The buyers have a lot more to prove right here to restart this movement up.
Yeah, definitely so. On the 30-minute, we can see it is that consolidation there. Still
Oh,
a decent trading range. It's still about a
yeah.
$100 range, high to low. But if you're looking for breakout opportunities over the last 2 days in gold, you're just not getting them. This was just another big daily range. Megaphone, reverse Dorito, whatever you want to call it. This was just an expanding, broadening range on either side. And if you look at where volume was, it was right in the middle. These are some of, to
Oh,
me, the toughest markets to trade. What the
oh,
hell are you doing? Pick a direction. Uh, and
oh.
the direction was to the right. The direction was to the right. Anything else you got there in gold, Coach Wall?
Yeah, I did not trading gold, and now I know why.
Yeah, that
I
just
mean,
looks.
seriously, we even had VWAP leaving the range at the
Mhm.
lows.
Yeah,
So no continuation. We did get a J trade out of that,
this is
which was rejected right
this
back
is
to the
nasty.
lows.
Yeah, this is gross. This is terrible.
So
I'm
we
sorry
just
for any
had.
range traders. If you like this, by all means.
You're good at. I know this. There's a limit to how much I can lose in a day for a reason. It's tight. If I was trading this and forcing,
Yeah,
first of all, there's a decent loss, maybe two losses. Mama said there'd be days like this,
right.
and that was one of those days here. And
Absolutely.
it's been that way. But with yesterday was the same way.
Paul in the chat, not Coach Paul, but Paul says gold has picked a direction. It's about to fall off a cliff to 43.50s.
43.50s.
43.50s. I could see that. Is that technically falling off the cliff? I would say falling off the cliff is, come on, Paul. If you're gonna give us a hot take. Make it hot. 3500s. Why not? Let's get all the way down there. 4260s. I'll raise you your 4350s. I'll go 4260s. That's 200-day moving average. Um, I can see that, right?
Yeah.
4350s is well within a couple of daily ATRs to the downside. If this market does pick up for a day trader, yeah, for a day trader, that's
Yeah,
definitely on the
you're
cliff.
right.
If you could catch most of that move to 4350s,
Well put.
right? You made your month in a day. You might make your quarter in a day. Uh, so there you have it. That is what we got for gold. Anything else you want to mention here, Coach Paul? Or should we move on? Any other markets you want to take a look at?
Um, no, let's see the euro, what
The
it's
market
been
is
doing through
closed.
all this. I haven't seen that in a while.
Closed. JKX, I'll answer your question. Give me a minute here. Let's take a look at the euro. Turning a little bit.
Yes, it is. It's holding that 200. It's look at the volume. Slowing down. Now it much like we saw when we get through the 20, it's that it takes a little bit. It just doesn't go through, but it gives you an idea. The market's direction, if it's been breaking, is slowing down, and understand that what can turn this around. If you see the 20 start to bend and turn positive, in
Yeah.
other words, it starts ticking up. But we're in one thing in a larger range, making it, but this is all under the 200 moving average. That actually it's starting to look like gold, but not ready yet.
Yep.
The other one to look at is Bitcoin.
Took a short last night. This was actually one of my decent trades today. I took the
Alright.
trade we were talking about yesterday on the close.
Let's see it.
So Bitcoin over the last 60 trading days or 50 trading days has been in this tight range, 43 trading days, 60 calendar days. The 20 moving average on the daily is a flat line, and this was a trade that we talked about yesterday. 70,000's up here, big fat round number level. Here is last night's open in Bitcoin, and we got some urgency to the
Yeah, we
downside.
did.
And this was probably, leaning on the higher time frame, leaning on this market being very range bound and being one of our biggest percentage movers to the upside yesterday. I thought this was a high probability trade, and it wasn't going to cost me a whole lot to take it. You can see we never really, once we left that first 30-minute opening range, we never really got back to it until the close here. I got short on this little pop up here, right around 69 200s. I got in short. Risk went above this high. I love micro Bitcoin because I don't have to risk a whole lot to trade a couple of micros. I think I was short 3, and the target was this 200 moving average on the downside. When I woke up this morning, we were pretty close to it. Took the trade off. Love you, micro Bitcoin. I love set and forget trades sometimes. I love set and forget trades, but you got to take them in. Oh wow, Coach. Speaking of Bitcoin, Coach Hoop just shared from Benzinga here. MicroStrategy posted a $14.5 billion unrealized loss in Q1. Unrealized.
So it's not a loss unless you're out of.
Not a loss unless you close, right?
That's
Or get liquidated.
or get liquidated. It's wow. But nice trade. Also, where did we go to last night?
200 moving average.
That's that 200 moving average, and we still haven't filled the gap. We went into the gap. We didn't hit the settlement or the close, but nice bounce back.
Yeah, nice recovery for sure. I might short it again if it plays out. I might short it again. It's super range bound right now. If it's gonna break out, sure, I'll be wrong, but it's not gonna cost me a whole lot to get short this market. All right, I think that's it. We got a little bit of time left. Let's go through some rapid fire, some questions here. There was one. So Ricardo, I don't know if Ricardo, you still here? Ricardo, if you're still here, let me know in the chat. But we had a question from JKX. And JK, I'm just going to let you know, at least for me, your question was max daily risk versus average green day. And you're looking for a ratio. If you're risking 12% of your account max loss, what's percentage green you're shooting for? Coach Paul, that's your suggestion with the 12%. You look at
Mhm.
risk to reward ratios that way on a daily. Also, knowing that 12% is like, hey, you're about to fall off the cliff, don't lose anymore, right? So it's not something that should happen all the time.
It should no, it shouldn't happen. It should happen rarely.
Mm,
So, but think of it as an ejection seat. Test pilots. No, when I was studying, a test pilot has an ejection seat for when what? They lose control.
yeah.
It's the last thing. If they're hitting that ejection seat every day, well, either they're a really bad pilot or it's a really bad plane. Doesn't matter. You're still trying to survive. So it's a business decision. With that decision is you're there to survive. At 12%, that's you can survive to trade another day. To me, that 50% in one day, it's going to be hard to literally you end up gambling. So keeping the account alive to trade to eliminate those horrible days. And how many times do we see these horrible days? We see it as coaches, we see someone do it all the time. If you really want to do this over time, you have to show that you can manage an account, not be right the market. Right? I mean, that's really important distinction.
Hopefully everybody heard what Coach Paul just said this here. There's so much focus, and there obviously there needs to be, yes, I need to be right about a trade to even try to make any money. But there's so much focus on needing to be right that you don't even make a consideration about the risk, right? Because you're only thinking about, well, if I'm right, I get paid. How many times can you be right and the market disagree, right? You might be right based on your strategy and the market does something else. The market, you know, I saw somebody else say they lost a an account due to the Pakistan headlines. Did you lose the account because of the Pakistan headline, or did you lose the account because you weren't managing risk, right? Those are two different things. You might have been right for the trade, and then the uncertainty that we literally live in uncertainty every single day in the markets. Um, there are no guarantees, right? So if you know that and you're susceptible to losing your account based on a headline, it's not the headline's fault. You can place the blame there, but there may be an opportunity to manage your risk a little bit better. And I see a lot of people. I saw somebody say, you know, I lost an account yesterday when I was up 3K. How can I manage my emotions? Manage your account first, and then you don't have as many emotions. Uh, the emotions come from seeing huge P&L swings. The emotions come from over leveraging. So, how do you manage your emotions? A lot of people, you know, some people will say, "Oh, you know, don't have emotions at all." I feel like I've seen a lot of people start to get away from that because at the end of the day, we're all human, right? Until you AI us all away, we're all human. So you're going to have emotions, but the emotions aren't the issue. It's the catalyst that's causing you to be emotional. That's the issue. How do I know this? Because I've done this shit to myself. I don't know how many times. So hopefully you guys can learn from my experiences in doing it. Trade a size that you truly don't care about. Truly don't care about. And then JK, you started this conversation, you know, the risk to reward ratios. We can give you a blanket suggestion, and I always go with Coach Paul's 12%. But if risking 12% of your account makes you emotional, then that can't be the suggestion for you. It has to be smaller. It has to be a dollar amount that you're comfortable truly risking in the markets. So, you know, all right, Coach.
I just have to add that to make sure it's understood. It's 12% of the account balance in one day,
Right.
not in one trade. So one of the things you can do is you need to create a risk budget.
Hmm.
So let's say that risk budget, I mean, we just measured it. It's $200 risk on a 2 ATR trade.
Yeah.
Okay. My risk budget, let's go with a $2,000 drawdown. In these markets, that can happen pretty damn quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could put so that 200 to 250. Let's just give it a little room, 250. That's my risk budget.
Yeah.
And we looked at trades where like the eight that I mean, we're having half hour ranges that are that. Go down to a 5 minute. You can really just you have to be either not trade equities right now
Mhm.
or go trade micro Bitcoin or something that doesn't have this volatility we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
That's where because if you can do it at this level and you can do that consistently, don't think about the making the money. You
Mhm.
can do it at any level.
Yeah.
And I was a CTA for a long time, but that's what they look for. You will see, in 2008 I had a banger of a year. It was
Mm.
triple digit return.
Nice.
It scared the hell out of everyone that I talked to. They
Yeah.
don't want to see that.
Right. A lot of
Uh,
variance there.
yeah, they were like, "Oh, well, now think what you're doing a combine is to prove that you can handle money. If you want money from someone, you got to prove you can handle it." And that's where the risk management, or I call it account management.
For sure. For sure. So to answer Ricardo's question, and I see a lot of the comments in the chat. A lot of people, hey, I
Right.
lost an account with big size and things like that. To answer Ricardo here, you're a new trader. Ricardo said you've been trading for a year. You were trading gold initially, but you got cooked trading gold, so you moved over to micro S&P. You passed your first combine in a week. So Ricardo, one of the things that my trading mentor used to tell people all the time when they first came into this, that you right now, if you're a year in, it may seem like you've been doing this for a long time, but you right now may be in a learning phase, not an earning phase. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. But right now, for you, like Coach Paul just said, this may not be about making money. If you make the right decisions, there's potential that money is going to follow you. But right now, you want to try to figure out how to repeatedly follow a setup and manage your risk along the way. And if you do those things, then you'll be rewarded potentially with some money in your account, right? A year in, you're still very new. Think about other endeavors that if you're a year in, you wouldn't be expected to operate at the highest, right? You have some skills. I use the analogy of the surgeon all the time. If you're a 1 year first year med student and you do surgery, your patients aren't going to make it. They're not going to put you in the emergency room and say, "Hey, save that patient." The patient isn't going to make it, right? If you are an athlete and you're like, "Hey, I want to be a basketball player," and you're a kid that wants to be a basketball player, and they say, "Okay, kid, hey, here you go. Take this basketball and go play on that NBA court." You're never going to survive. And forget not surviving. You're never going to want to do it again. You're going to be so disheartened that you don't want to do it again, right? Because wow, these people are so much better than me that like how am I ever going to get to that level? And a lot of what happens is in social media, we see people who are at completely different levels and everybody wants to be on the same playing field. That's literally like me watching a basketball game and saying, if I go to the park next door to my house, I can be LeBron after 6 months. I can't. It's not going to happen, right?
Unless you can stretch.
Exactly, right? Maybe Steph Curry is a better example, but I can't shoot like him either, right? And when we compare to what we've seen, and this is the battle with social media is you get to see people at whatever level they're at. You don't get to see more often than not. Some people aren't showing their downsides, right? people are only showing the wins. So then it's easier to compare to that. Everyone that you see having success in doing this has had their own journey, and you have to accept where you are in yours. So if you've lost your account, you're a year in, I would say slow yourself down. It took you a week to pass a combine. That's better than some of what we hear, right? Sometimes it's 2 days. What I really wanted to know is how long it took you to lose that account, because if it was shorter than that, then you're not managing risk, and that's the only issue. You're going to have losing trades, but if you don't manage the risk, your account. I've had this live account for. I've had this live account for 40 days, I think it is. I'm probably 50-50 with winning and losing days, which means I have about 20 losing days in this account. But the balance is still available to trade. Talk to me 8 years ago, that this account would have been gone, right? But it's like, hey, I know this. I'm not having the greatest time trading this right now, guys. I'll be honest, but I'm not gonna lose the entire account in one day, right? And that's what's really important. And then eventually, my trading will get back on track where we can start to build on it again. But if I don't have an account, then I got to start from ground zero. We don't want to do that. So manage your risk better. We are at time here, so I don't want to overtalk, Coach Paul. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Wow, this is a great show. Great conversation. And I just want to talk about this one comment here. From JKX98. How often do you flip bias during the session? Do you keep an invalidation level in mind? Seems less stressful. Excuse me. Seems less stressful to stay focused on trading one way unless it no longer makes sense to do. Yes, I rarely flip. It's less than 10% of the time. I'm coming in with a market bias. It took me a long time to determine my stubborn bias versus the market bias. And for a little more of that, you could come into my pivot hour at 7:30 Central, where we talk about developing a market bias. One of the greatest pieces of advice I got from trading was from Peter Stottlemyre when I was struggling. He goes, just take one side of the market. What had happened, it limited my downside. Days like today, you get flipped from being long to short at the bottom and long on a rotational day like today, big losses occur. If you're just picking one side, you can limit that. So that's how I'm glad you brought that up. And that's still part of my plan is to eliminate getting creamed on severe rotation days like today. So that's why you hear me say it, and I'll say it, and I'll let you go. Is plan your trade and trade your plan. And we'll talk again tomorrow.
Some stuff. Ricardo, that last 15 minutes, rewatch that as many times as you need to. You said you lost the account in 3 days. I've done it before as well. Got to be a better risk manager. You could be the greatest trader in the world. If you make $1 million today and lose $1 million and one tomorrow, you didn't make any money. So trade well, manage your risk, and I will see you all potentially for slow markets tonight. We got coaches doing classes in Discord after this. Coach Hoop at 6 p.m. Eastern, Coach Ray at 7, Coach Vince at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Coach Dakota with slow markets tonight at 8 p.m. as well. Braden and I will be joining him for slow markets. Then we got Aaron with the London Open, 2:30 a.m. Eastern, D with metal markets at 6:30 a.m. And we will be back for the opening call tomorrow, 8:15 Eastern time. Trade well, everybody. Manage your risk. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate you all being here, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.